Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Dal Grunga. This is From a Place of Self, and I am extraordinarily super excited coming at you live from the Govardhan Eco Village podcast recording studio. I feel like I'm in this little palace. And I'm
Recording Palace.
Recording palace. I'm here with my dear friend, dear sister, one of my best friends, Rukmini Poddar, that we've known for, I don't know, some time.
It's coming close to 10 years, to be honest.
Really?
2016 is when I moved to the Bhakti Center when we first connected. 2017, we really became friends.
Yeah, 2017, we really connected, and we just became super good friends. We worked and served together at the Bhakti Center and stayed in touch. And I consider you, literally a best friend and a close sister. And we're here in India. We are leading an India trip together. Somehow that happened.
It literally somehow happened, it's like perfect.
We've been wanting to have a podcast conversation for a long time. We've had different conversations at different times over the years. We've always stayed in touch, journeying through emotions and vulnerability and finding ourselves and being there for each other and encouraging each other when I feel like my life isn't going anywhere and I'm not enough. And she's like, "You're such a great person, Dal. You know what you're doing." And she's going through something like, "Rooks, you're such an amazing person. Keep doing what you're doing."
This sums it up.
It kind of sums up our relationship. We'll just kind of swoop in like free therapy. And we found out that we're like, there's a podcast recording studio at the Govardhan Eco Village. We're like, really? And I'm thinking, okay, this cool little closet. So we walk in and there's just this little palace.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm like, Rooks, come on up here. Let's record an episode. And so we're here.
Yeah.
And so
I've been trying to do this for a while on Zoom, and this is meant to be.
It's way better than Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
honestly, I'm just taking a second to be like, whoa, this is happening. So.
Yeah. And so one of the things that we want to talk about, we both worked in internal family systems for some time. You help people heal, transform, get to know themselves better through art, through illustration. She just published her book, Draw Your Feelings. And one of the people on our trip just shared that somebody that you don't know is a student of mine that I connect with, and her father passed away, and said that this was the book that connected her and her mother, that didn't necessarily have a close relationship, but they used it as a tool to connect and be able to express themselves and get vulnerable and learn how to communicate and process what they were going through. So your book is out there touching people's lives. You're connecting.
It's amazing. She literally told me they would go on Zoom and do exercises together.
Yeah.
And it's just, when you put something out in the world, you don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
Years ago when I was writing it, I would try to imagine who's going to use it.
Yeah.
And it's just really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really a blessing.
So you said we don't know where it goes. So this is one of the things that we were thinking to talk about, where we have a section in your book, Draw Your Parts.
Yeah.
You just did a beautiful workshop for some of the people that are here. And one of the things I was thinking about are the parts that keep us small.
Mm-hmm.
I was just reading recently that there are certain parts of us that protect us by keeping us small.
Mm-hmm.
Because to be seen can be dangerous, or to be
to
believe in something can lead to disappointment. And so there are parts of us that know we have gifts, that know we have something to offer. You're somebody that I see with a tremendous amount of gifts, who knows you have something to offer the world, who is offering beautiful things to the world. I feel at times that I have things I want to offer to the world, but then there are parts of us that keep us small, the doubt, the uncertainty, the who am I, is this really worth it, etc. And I wanted to just open up a conversation about those parts and hear from you if you have any parts like that, and you wanted to bring them into our
They run the
today.
show, Dale.
They run the show.
The little parts, the parts that keep us little, the parts
Yeah.
that keep me little. I'm just wondering how I can be really real about that and share it. I was thinking December, January, when you first reached out about being on a podcast, those parts were really active. And I was kind of avoiding being on a podcast with you, mainly because I was I have nothing to give. I have there's nothing in me. I'm a fraud. I just say I do all these things, and just really putting myself down. And that happens very often, but sometimes it's just very visceral and real. And, I think that part really plays its part. It has its purpose to do that.
What has been your journey? Have you spent time getting to know those parts of you?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. It's like, you're not expecting me to share all of this live in a podcast, are you? Can we talk about,
Like,
how have I been doing? How my book's going?
no, this is great. This is the stuff I love talking about. Yeah, I feel like I've gotten to know it for sure because there's been a journey of stepping into myself more and taking up more space, and I see it happening, like in writing a book and putting myself out there. It's fulfilling. It feels like what I'm meant to be doing. And like the reality is like sometimes there's a whiplash. Like I remember like, spending so many months promoting my book, and then a few days after my book came out, after like the highs of promoting it, I just had this like emotional low of like, I don't know what emotions I'm feeling. Like who am I to tell people and be the emotions girl and to really promote myself that way? And then it's like, whew, whiplash. And it can be really disorienting. It's very helpful to kind of tease that back and be like, oh, these are parts of me that are in conflict or polarized. And definitely the language of parts have helped me to not identify so much with that and kind of be like, oh, what's this cast of characters of me that are playing these roles that are going back and forth? There's a part of me that wants to be really small and hidden and invisible, and there's a part of me that wants to be seen and big and loud. And it's all at the same time. And in so many ways, it's just my ego, like the pendulum back and forth. And if I get stuck in identifying that, it's really exhausting. And it happens often. The only thing that kind of breaks that cycle is not being in that ego space and being of service. I mean, it sounds a little cliche, but when I'm really in that place of connecting and doing what I love to do, facilitating and creating workshops, it kind of just goes out because I'm like in motion. I'm serving, and I mean, it's what I experienced the last few days, even just being on this pilgrimage with you. It's like, oh, this is like, I can't hide from my dharma. That's the thing. It's like, okay, I want to play small. I want to pretend that I can't do so many things. But the minute I step into what I'm meant to be doing, it just feels really natural. And anyway, I'm kind of going on, but basically, like when I do,
you're meant to go on. By the way, you're the guest. Like I'm here to listen to you.
That's my part. That's minimizing.
Like, whoa. By the way, I just been going on. It's like tapping too much. I'm being too seen. I'm being too big. You're being too big right now. We're being quiet down.
I know. Yeah, I feel that. So I'm gonna stop talking and then pass it over to you for a second.
I don't want to be big either. That's it. We're going to cut this episode short. We both want to be small right now. We're done volleying the questions back and forth to the other person.
I will say one thing that there's always a payoff to everything, and I think that's been helpful in kind of understanding these parts. That one, I used to feel like this was humility, and that was a value that I've had in spiritual communities, that it's okay to be small and feel that I should be small because that's humility, right? So it's like a false sense of humility that justified me being small. But like I said, there's a payoff to everything. So when I think about it, like what is the payoff behind being small, not taking opportunities, hiding myself, not leaning into the gifts that I have? The payoff is, I mean, one is probably just not taking the responsibility that comes. It's like if I say I want to play big and be of service and do these great things, then I need to show up in that way. And I need to take leadership and take care of people and be in integrity and like all this stuff that can feel kind of like a lot of responsibility. And I think just denying myself, like I can't do anything, and that little I'm small part becomes like comforting. Because I just ease into this comfort zone of smallness. So being small just becomes a comfortable way to be. And not being small and being like, yes, I'll be on your podcast. Yes, I'll come on pilgrimage. Yes, I'll lead things and be seen. And it's not as easy. And so it's just a journey of stepping out of that comfortable place.
I've seen that pattern. One of the first patterns I've noticed in parts of in me was something very similar, where I know there's a part of me that wants to achieve and wants to do things or feel I have a certain potential or go out into the world and et cetera, and pushes me to do stuff. And then there's immediately a part of me that feels very overwhelmed in the face of all of that. Like just feels overwhelmed in the idea of having to do all of that, feels tired, feel like it's being pushed. And then in order to deal with that sense of overwhelmedness, there's another part of me that just wants to numb out. You know, and it's just the tragedy is that we've been given so many more ways to just be distracted, right? It doesn't require a full-scale, large substance abuse addiction anymore. I mean, that's still there, obviously, for many of us or many people. But it can just be something as simple as constant checking of messages on your phone.
Yeah,
And I think,
scrolling.
and like you said, I think I'm just being really unresponsible. You do so many things at once, and you've got really on top of some
Yeah.
things. You're so organized. It's like, thank you so much. The part of me that wants to be seen as the organizer feels really stroked right now. And you're encouraging very harmful behavior in me right now. So if you can just stop encouraging that type of behavior, I'd appreciate that.
Stop
But
enabling you
stop
to check
enabling
out.
me, right? Yeah, stop enabling me to just distract myself.
Yeah.
But it can just be a constant check, and we just think it's. I mean, how much of us? It's scary to think sometimes how much I'm how uncomfortable it can be to do nothing, right? Waiting for a subway, waiting for
Yeah.
somebody to call, on your walking on the way. I have some time to kill, so I'm just gonna knee-jerk react. I'm just gonna check the news. I'm gonna check social media. I'm gonna check my messages. I'm gonna check up, and it could be just wanting to stay on top of things, but there's also a sense of that's what we do and use to just check out, to just never really be present. And so there's a part in me that wants to strive and achieve and do things. Then there's a part that gets like completely overwhelmed by all of it because I've been pushing my whole life.
Yeah.
And then there's the part that just wants to then it just tunes out by just distracting. And then the day just gets filled with busy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
you feel like, what'd you do to like? Because there's a sense of what did you do today? It's like, I don't know, I'm tired and exhausted, but I don't know really what it all added up to because
Yeah.
you're just numbing out or going whatever it might be. And then there's the critic that comes in and that initial part that's like, well, crap, you're wasting your time and you're not doing enough and get your act together. And that triggers the part that needs to kick in and get strive and push. That then triggers the part that feels overwhelmed. That
Yeah.
then triggers the part that deals with the overwhelm by distracting. That then triggers the shame and the guilt of not doing anything for the day. That then triggers the part that needs to then push in order to accomplish and do stuff and compensate. And it just becomes this whole cycle.
Yeah. I wish I had a piece of paper to just draw that whole thing out, but you made it very visible.
She's like, no, I'm supposed to be the one that guess. You're just spilling your guts here. Is this a therapy session for you?
I love it. I love it. We're all feeling that way, and I just feel like, is there a way out of that? Like we're stuck in these cycles of like striving, exhaustion, overwhelm. And when we kind of spell it out, it sounds really like, why would we do that to ourselves?
Yeah. Well, I think it's the sense of recognizing that each part is acting in response to another.
Yeah. Yeah.
Each response is and it's in this loop, right? One part is because there's this sense of emptiness, I need to achieve and do something. And then because I'm always pushing and doing something, there's this sense of being overwhelmed and exhausted. And then because of there's being overwhelmed and exhausted, the other part kicks in and just needs to distract and numb out because it just can't handle with the overwhelm. And then that triggers the part that then feels the shame and the guilt because I haven't done anything today or I'm scattered or I'm not doing enough. That then kicks in the part that feels like it needs to do more. And so each part, in isolation, you can look at that and just think it's defective.
Yeah.
But actually, when you look at it in the context of the greater system, there's a role that it's playing. And so the role of being too small or trying to play small, usually I think for me is a space of not wanting to like disappoint myself or disappoint others or be a disappointment.
Wait, when you play small,
Playing small
leads
right.
to you.
Leads to
feeling-
you. So the idea of a part of me that keeps you small
Yeah.
because that part actually cares.
Yeah, I see.
That part really cares about that wounded part in you that it knows is
Ah,
hurting,
yeah.
that knows has been hurt before, and knows that if doesn't want you to get disappointed, be a disappointment, or get hurt.
Yeah.
And so, small is safe sometimes.
Yeah, small is safe.
But then it triggers that part of me that feels like I'm not living up to potential, and we have this whole kind of inner conflict.
Yeah.
So I'm sharing the whole thing, but
Yeah.
turning it back over to you.
I'm relating to that. I'm relating to the being triggered, the small is safe.
Yeah.
The feeling that, taking risks and using our voice is risky, scary, because in the past we've done that, we've been hurt. I think of kids and how, like, kids don't really play small. Like, naturally, like, joyful and exuberant. I think of women, everyone can play small, but just how certain cultures, certain genders, I think being in a woman's body, I think being South Asian, Indian woman, I think that plays into it. Not that that's the reason, but when I look back and I see the conditioning that reinforces This is why you should be small. This is why you should not use your voice.
Yeah.
Even like the spiritual teachings that are like misinterpreted, that you must be humble means to look a certain way. And it's also like you can get a lot of validation for being small in certain ways, especially like as at least for me as a woman, it's
Yeah.
like so polite, so nice, so simple. And then you just have to wonder if that's really serving.
Yeah.
Again, being small in like a genuine way can be beautiful in the sense
Yeah.
that I I don't need to take a lot of attention. I feel secure in myself. There's different ways to see it.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking about how what we lose when we play small,
Yeah.
what we're all losing in so many of us who aren't willing to really put themselves forward.
Yeah.
And I'll talk in I statements. I'll try to make it personal, but I struggle with not playing it small. I
Yeah.
struggle with playing it big, with taking up space, with all of that, because it's just risky. And I think so much comes to a sense of like deep conviction in myself, and a sense of like, why am I doing this? Because there's so much validation in everything. I feel like we're validation hungry. I'm validation hungry, and I get so afraid of that. Like, I don't want to be egotistical. I don't want to be, I don't want to be seen. I don't want people to know that I want to be famous, successful. It's not. I actually want to, but I don't want people to know that about me. And I think there's such a fear. Like, it's so much safer to be like, Rukmini, you're such a humble, easygoing, simple, lovely girl. Not like, oh, you're ambitious as hell and you're like wanting to be big. And for some reason, there's a lot of shame to that.
Yeah.
And I think not owning that and like purifying that desire of like, I want to be successful in all these things because it's a gift into the world that makes me feel of service, that has been given to me, that if I don't do, I'm literally like depressed and purposeless.
Yeah.
But I think owning that, it's like, it's okay to want those things, and suppressing that desire and hiding it under the guise of smallness really doesn't help.
Yeah. How do you know when something isn't, you said, serving you in that regard, like playing small, or how do you know that it's not serving you?
I guess if I feel bad, if I feel annoyed and depressed and resentful, and if I feel like it's like a lack of energy and motivation in my life. Like, I'll see my life kind of flatline in terms of energy.
Yeah.
Like, everything just is like, meh. And there's not like vitality.
Yeah.
Because if I'm playing it small, I'm denying myself of these things that are natural, creativity, and just putting myself out there, if that makes sense. So that's how I know it's not serving me. It's like a natural way to be would be exuberant and joyful and confident and playful and spontaneous. And sometimes when I feel that, it's because I'm connected to myself.
Yeah. There's a part of you that, because you mentioned something and I was laughing on my own, just smiling over here, because you were talking about, I want to achieve things, but I don't want people to know that I want that.
I think that it comes down to that.
Yeah. And so why, if you were to ask that part, why don't you want people to know that?
Yeah.
Why not?
Well,
because I can relate to that. I'm like, I don't want people to know that. I was just
totally. And I want to just bring the context of being part of like a spiritual family or group, or like I have been. Not that it's bad, but it creates these imprints that you're not allowed those things. Like, it's bad. It's bad to be famous, and because fame means greedy. It's bad to make money because that means, So I think there's shame associated with it. And at the same time, I can't ignore and pretend it's not there, because that's also inauthentic. I just have to be honest and be like, I want those things. And I also I don't want that to be everything. It's like, I want to acknowledge those things, and I want to purify that. I don't want my whole life to revolve around being successful and famous, but parts of me want that.
Yeah.
Parts of me want to be seen, and how can I use those parts that have that ability and potential? Yeah. But again, I use that word purify because there's a sense that that's not everything. I think what my deepest heart and soul wants is deep connection to God, a sense of purpose. Yeah. So I guess what I want is like in stages, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I say often that we usually don't want the things we want. We want the things we think the things we want will give us.
Yeah.
And so when we say that I want to be famous or successful or rich or whatever it might be, there's something that's deeper. That part wants something for you that it thinks that those things are going to give you. It wants you to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
It wants that wounded part that feels empty, that feels insecure, that feels left out, that feels abandoned, to be able to feel connected. And we're in society, we're given a strategy or a ways in which we think that that will be fulfilled, right? And then there might be another person who says, well, I live in a spiritual community, and therefore if you want to be famous, like, some cultures are like, yeah, go be famous, go be really successful, go kick ass and do that. And then some cultures, wait a minute, but in this circle side of my life over here, if I do that, these people are going to reject me and think that I'm stuck up, and so then I have to kind of manage that over here. And we're just trying to, like, we're constantly trying to figure out the rules of engagement, of what I'm allowed to feel or do or see or not see, and it can just get really confusing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where are you right now in all of that?
When I talk about it,
One of us needs to cry, by the way, by the end of this podcast. We need to get deep into it.
I'm getting close to it, but it might just be artificial. Yeah, where am I and all that? I'm kind of tired of it. I'm tired of like the pendulum. I'm tired of the ego behind. I want to be small and then I want to be big.
Yeah.
I really want to find that place that I just want to be me. I want to be what's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what does that mean for you? Like, what is it? What do you feel you as yourself really wants?
I feel what I want is a loving connection with God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I'm sure.
It's hard when
right,
I'm on a
right
podcast.
Answer?
It's honestly hard.
Wait a minute. Who's listening?
Well, yeah.
By the way, we're not famous yet. There's about 10 fans I have out there. Hardcore. Appreciate you guys listening. Thank you. They're a good audience.
I want to be like slightly meta at the moment and just say that talking about parts on a podcast, I feel like there's my performative parts coming right now and saying things that I should say, and then I just can't really get in touch with the real parts.
Yeah.
But
so how do we do that?
I don't know. You want to do some IFS on me?
Would you? You open?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask it, but I was like gonna pop the question.
Yeah. I think it might be helpful.
Cool. I think this is a great space for it.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
We only
Is
have
this going to be edited out or is this going to be in? You can keep the whole thing in.
Yeah. If you're listening right now, that means we didn't edit out and we're rolling, and they're like, people are listening, this is about to get juicy. Yeah. So we could edit any of this out if we want to.
Okay, let's get real.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. When you ask me these questions, I don't know what part of me is answering.
Yeah.
The performative part.
And it's not easy.
What do you want? The spiritual part. So I'd love to know what I want.
So why don't you just think right now, just go ahead and just, take some time, close your eyes, go inside, take a deep breath, and just start to just notice whatever's coming up. And sometimes it might just be a sensation in your body, like there's not a word or a feel, like a name. It might just be a sensation in your body that's speaking to you, or it might just be a part that's coming up. We've mentioned parts that want to keep you small, parts that want to be ambitious and achieve, part that just want a loving connection with God, part that doesn't want people to see you as materialistic and ambitious, or something else that we didn't mention at all. And just ask the question, what needs attention for you right now? And just wait and see what comes up.
There's a constriction in my throat that I think needs attention. I don't know what it is, but I definitely feel that sensation.
Great. So go ahead and just bring some awareness there. Yeah. You can place your hand there, open up some space. Just breathe into that space. And just allow yourself to become aware of the feeling of constriction in your throat. Create space for it. Notice that it's there. And just see if anything happens as you bring more awareness there.
Yeah, I noticed some thoughts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like, oh, this is so weird, I'm being filmed.
Yeah, for sure. There's the part that's thinking like, what are we doing here?
But it's actually, if I connect it to this part, there's some fear of being seen.
Okay.
It's like there's lights and being seen by you, by others, by who knows. And then there's another part kind of popping up as I say that, that's like judging this part of like,
Yeah.
just do the podcast.
Yeah. So there's
That
a
like
fear of
yeah.
being seen, whether it be being seen in this moment on a podcast or just being seen in general.
And I think this other part is like is critical of this part being so honest.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
but definitely yeah, I'm noticing
So,
it's the fear of being seen, not even in this moment, but just in general. And I
yeah.
think it connects
Yeah.
with what we talked about why it
Yeah.
plays small.
So so check inside and just see these two parts have shown up. And just check and see, just ask. And it's okay if there's not a super clear answer, if there's a conflict, but just ask and see between the part that is constricting in your throat, that is afraid of being seen, and the part of you that's judging that part and thinks that it shouldn't be that way. Just see if either of those parts has a sense of which one needs more attention right now.
Throat.
The throat. Okay, cool. So just ask this question, just check and see. Don't tell it to go away, but just ask the part of you that's judging that part that's constricting in your throat, the critic, the judge. Just ask that part if it'd be willing to just step back and just give a little bit of space. That we're sure there's a very valid reason why it feels the way it feels, that it plays an important role in your system. But in order for us to help in general, and we just want to get to know this part and just understand it a little bit more, and it'd be really cool if it can just give us a little space to do that. And just see if it'd be willing to just relax, go into a private waiting room, chill.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank it for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And let's go back to that feeling of restriction in your throat. That part is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And how are you feeling towards that part right now?
Yeah, I feel curious
Yeah.
towards it.
Cool.
I want to know more about it.
Cool. Let it know that.
Mhm.
Just open up some curiosity and just let it know that you're there and that you're feeling curious towards it. And just see if it notices you and is aware that you're there and you're feeling curious. And just see if it notices you and how it responds to the fact that you're there and you're curious.
Yeah, I think it's softening. I think it's appreciating that I stopped my
Yeah.
podcast soliloquy and kind of
Yeah.
took some time with it.
Yeah, it's like, cool, thanks for finally showing up and being here. Yeah. Just let it feel your presence for a moment. And then just ask if there's anything it wants you to know about what it does to help, or if there's a role it plays in your life. And just wait to see whatever comes back directly from that part.
Yeah, I'm just really conscious of my throat. I'm like swallowing a lot, and
Yeah.
I'm don't know what role it plays. I feel
Yeah. You don't need to know. Just ask the part.
yeah, okay.
Just whatever part is trying to figure it out or observe it or think, just let those parts relax. Let them know they don't have to figure this out. And just really connect with your curious self that just wants to know. And just ask that part if it plays a role or if it has a job. It may not. But just ask if it has a job or if there's anything it wants you to know about itself. And just let it reply in whatever way it wants to. And don't force anything. If there's nothing, that's okay.
I think this part tells me when it's uncomfortable.
It tells you when it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, when there's
Oh.
something, or actually there's something like, I think this part really wants to be real and authentic and
Yeah.
speak from the heart.
Yeah. This
And
part, yeah.
yeah, wow, I feel a little emotional. If
Yeah.
I don't speak from the heart, or if I'm kind of performing, or I'm anything else,
Yeah.
there's something there.
Okay. So this one lets you know when you're uncomfortable, and it really wants you to speak from the heart.
Yeah, there's something about this speaking.
Yeah.
I'm noticing when I'm not. Yeah, it's signaling.
What is it signaling?
Right now, it's signaling that it was uncomfortable, that what I was speaking earlier wasn't really real.
Hmm.
I was
Yeah.
kind of speaking from here,
From the head.
but not really like from here.
Yeah, from down and inside in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this part notices, it has a detector that notices when you're really connected to your heart and inner space,
Mm-hmm.
or when you're just more speaking from the head or speaking from a performance space, and it really wants you to be real, and so it shows up and it detects that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's,
Yeah, it just appreciates that.
yeah,
It like really softened. It's like,
yeah,
oh yeah, that's like a really important thing it does
yeah,
that I just try to ignore.
yeah. Ignore what?
Ignore that signal.
Ignore that signal.
And ignore it.
Yeah.
And just
Ask it what's the signal that it gives. Like, what? How does it indicate to you when you're being real or when you're not?
it tightens.
It tightens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gives some sensation. I really feel a lot of it.
Okay.
Maybe it does more, but that's like the first thing
Yeah.
I noticed.
It tightens. And what's important about tightening? Yeah, just stay with it. We just want to know more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it just wants to kind of control what I say a little bit.
Okay.
Like tighten.
Yeah.
And it wants to,
Okay.
yeah.
So this one notices when you're sort of disconnecting or not coming from an authentic space. And so it kind of
Yeah.
tightens and wants to pull you back to
Yeah.
yourself. Is that right? You can check. I don't want to be phrasing in a wrong way. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it likes that.
Okay,
It kind
cool.
of checks in and pulls.
Yeah. And ask this part what's important about that pulling in and making sure that you're connected from a real place. What is it afraid would happen if it didn't do that?
Yeah, it just doesn't want me to be like a superficial,
Yeah.
validation seeking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of being a little dramatic, but it's like I don't want you to just lose yourself and just speak BS. And
Yeah.
I'm noticing it has like a lot of fear, and it's
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's feeling there's like a protection there
Yeah.
to speak what's real.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Ask it to tell you more about the fear of what it's afraid would happen if you were just speaking BS or just seeking validation. Like what is it afraid would happen if that were the case?
Losing myself,
You'd lose yourself.
or losing integrity.
You lose integrity. Yeah, and what happens if you lose integrity?
Yeah, it feels like I get a sense that it's trying to say, like, if I just speak air or I'm not really speaking from the heart,
Yeah.
then there's like I'm missing the point.
Okay.
Like there's like so much here to
Yeah.
share, but
Yeah.
I'm bypassing that, and
Okay.
I'm
There's important stuff that it wants you to connect to.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's pointing me, and it's not liking that I skip over the heart
Okay.
and speak what I think I should speak.
Yeah.
Speak what seems, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
As you're
Yeah.
hearing this, does this make sense to you? As you're
Yeah.
hearing this part?
Yeah. I was thinking that this part probably keeps me small in some ways, maybe.
Okay.
Because it wants me to.
Just check and ask. Does this part
Yeah,
keep
I
you
don't
small,
know.
or is that something else?
Yeah, that might be something else.
Okay. I just want to
I
make
just.
sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, it just feels like there's a part here that really cares.
That really cares. Yeah.
And I feel actually grateful. I was like, oh wow, there's
Yeah.
something genuine there.
Let it
And
know that. You can
yeah.
express that gratitude and just keep that connection with that part from you. And how are you feeling towards it now as you're hearing all of this?
How does the part feel, or
How do you feel towards this part as it shares all of this with you?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel kind of relieved. It feels like this part is like a radar, you know?
Okay.
It's like checking in on me and caring
Yeah.
about um, really what I'm putting out there, what I'm speaking,
Yeah.
how I'm showing up. It really cares about
Yeah.
me not becoming superficial or kind of losing myself.
Yeah.
Like that there's like some kind of meter, kind of authenticity
Yeah.
meter or something.
Yeah. This part's really looking out for you,
Yeah.
and you're grateful
Yeah.
and feel relieved. And there's
Yeah.
some gratitude.
There's like a sense of, I feel a little bit more grounded.
Yeah.
Like it kind of brought me from here to here a little bit.
This part wants you to stay connected to your authenticity and not just speak air. I'm going to ask a question. It's a very vulnerable question. You can answer this here. One of the beautiful things about this process is that I or the audience don't even need to get all the information. It can just be between you and this part. And so you can just share out loud, or you can just share internally. But I'm just curious, as it speaks about you and looking out for you and wanting to make sure that you are protected, ask this part to genuinely look you in the eye and tell you how old it thinks you are.
Mm. I'm getting a little heady with this question. I always
Yeah.
struggle. I mean, the number 12 keeps coming.
Number 12, just
so
go
I
with
might
that.
just go with that.
Yeah, so whatever headiness or trying to think of the right answer or parts that
Yeah.
want to make sure it's the right answer,
Mm-hmm.
just invite those parts to relax, step back, it's okay. They don't need to know.
Mm.
And we can help a lot more if they would just let you stay in connection. We appreciate them, but they can just relax right now. And this part knows, the one that's been sharing, it knows, it has a sense. And just check and see if it thinks you're 12.
I'm still overthinking a little, but I think so. I don't
Okay.
have like a strong
Okay.
answer.
Yeah. Just, again, just see if they'd be willing, those parts that are coming in and blocking that connection, that might be afraid of you getting a little too close to something. Just remind them this is a safe space.
The part immediately is like, this is not a safe space, it's being recorded.
We can edit out anything they don't want to have.
Oh, okay.
We can delete the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's softened.
Yeah, that's cool. And let them know that you're here, you're not alone, and I'm here to help. And we really just want to connect with this really valuable part of you that protects you by protecting your integrity and pulling you in closer to yourself.
Mm.
And that is aware of a younger part of you that it feels needs some protection. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And check in with that one that constricts in your throat, that wants you to be connected and is looking out for you as that 12-year-old. Ask this one if it'd be a good idea for you as yourself to connect with that 12-year-old and build a relationship with her. We're not going to do anything without its permission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, as I'm just focusing in, it's not 12, it's probably like 4, 3.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you for giving you that information.
Yeah, I'm just connecting with like an exuberant,
Yeah.
young Rukmini.
Yeah. Exuberant young Rukmini.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Exuberant young Rukmini. Yeah. Ask this one what its role or relationship is with this young exuberant Rukmini.
Mm. It's like a caretaker, protective,
Caretaker. Yeah.
really cherishes,
Yeah.
really wants to maintain that energy,
Yeah.
that like
Oh.
essence, the
Yeah.
flavor. There's like a lot of dynamism to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. So this young, exuberant Rukmini, 3 or 4 years old, has a lot of dynamism, has a lot of flavor and energy, and they want to protect her and maintain all of that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Ask this question, and it's okay if there's not a clear answer, but just ask, this part protects this young, exuberant 3, 4-year-old Rukmini. Is this 3, 4-year-old Rukmini carrying any pains or wounds or burdens that they don't want to be triggered or ignited? Or is this young, exuberant Rukmini someone that is free from burdens and they're trying to just bring out and share with the world? Just see if there's a clarity that comes back from that. If not, that's totally okay.
I get the sense that it's burden free.
Yeah.
There's like a purity, like that's who I
Yeah.
want to come back to.
Okay. Yeah, that was my sense. I just wanted to check.
Mm-hmm.
There's a purity there that they want to come back to. Yeah. Okay. Ask this part if they have a sense of where we need to go from here.
Hmm. The child part or
The part that protects.
Yeah.
That notices the purity. What it observed and shared might be burden-free, that it just the purity that it wants to protect. Ask that part if it knows, has a sense of where we need to go from here.
I think it just wanted me to remember
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
That young self.
Yeah.
And who she is. And
Yeah. So ask this one if it'd be okay for you, as your adult self today, as your true essence, with me here supporting you, if it'd be okay for you to go and directly connect with that 3, 4-year-old essence of yourself. Would they be okay giving you space to do that? And if you can
Interesting.
build that relationship with that one so that she could be in a relationship with you, and that this restrictive part wouldn't have to work so hard because you'd be there as yourself to look after and care for that pure one and make sure that they are able to stay connected and be brought with you into your life. Would they be okay with that? Would they like to see that?
Yeah. The question is, would this part be okay with me connecting to that young part?
Yeah, exactly. Do they have any concerns if you were to do that?
I think it's concerned about doing it right here, right now.
Okay. No
I don't know
worries.
why, but I get a sense that
Yeah, so let's...
there's a lot of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think connecting with that young self is actually really important for me.
Yeah.
But almost,
Yeah.
I can't really be I don't know, it'll be kind of wild and silly, and I don't know, it's
So
like,
let's-
it feels self-conscious.
Let's do this right now, just because we're just doing a little experiment with this. So we're not going to go there and do that right now. But this part of you that constricts in your throat that showed up initially, just ask, and we don't have to force anything. Just ask, does it have a name or a way that it likes to be referred to, or that you'd like to refer to right now? We're just calling it the one that restricts in your throat, protects. Does it have a way that it'd like to be referred to, or a name? And if not, that's
Yeah.
totally fine. Does it,
Ask.
or that you'd like to offer? And if you think of one that you don't want to share, that's okay. Or if you want to share with me, you can. Or if there's not one, you don't have to force it.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Okay, cool. So just thank this one for showing up and for doing the service that it does in your life, and for pointing you towards this young, exuberant, pure 3, 4-year-old within you. And just make the offer and commitment to stay connected. And if we were doing further work, or we were to continue a session, or if you were to just go on your own, this would be a great place for you to start.
Mm.
And first checking with this part that constricts in your throat that pulls you back to yourself, and really honoring the role that it plays, the really, really noble purpose it has to keep you connected, to not forget this young 3-4-year-old that it wants you to connect with, but not right here, not right now. And see where that space might be, what that would look like for you, whether it's in an IFS session or whether it's with your journaling or with your art or time in nature. What does it look like? What concerns does it have? And really address those concerns and work with that part to build your own relationship of self with that young one. And just see if your system's open to that. Not here right now, we're not going to do it, we're going to wrap up, but just
Yeah.
moving forward.
Yeah. No, it feels excited about it.
Yeah.
There's like a sense of,
Yeah.
oh, like that's the vitality, you know.
Yeah.
Even in like the playing it small, the whole thing felt
Yeah.
kind of artificial. It's like actually what I want is just to feel like very connected to who I
Yeah.
really am.
Yeah.
And just do things from that spirit. It's not
Yeah.
about trying to be big or seen or famous or not or small. I feel like,
Just connect with that little
Yeah,
one
just
inside and
connect
just
the-
bring her along.
yeah, just do things as she would do things. Play and experiment and giggle and take risks and
Doesn't matter if it's big or small.
yeah.
Yeah. So ask this one that showed up as this protector if there's anything else it wants to say or do or be acknowledged for before we close right now.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's just, yeah, it's just sending some gratitude.
Yeah. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Can you receive that gratitude?
Yes.
Yeah, let it know that you receive its gratitude and you're grateful also.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want you to check back in with that judge that showed up originally, that
Yeah.
was judging this part,
Hmm.
and just see how it's doing and thank it for giving some space and see if there's anything that it wants to say or ask or share or be acknowledged for before we close.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's still there, just like watching.
Yeah.
Still has its thoughts and opinions, but
Yeah.
it's given some space.
Yeah. 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 Thank that part as well for doing its job, and there's some loving attention that can be shared with that part also as we get to know it. And it has a story to tell and a relationship to build with yourself. And just check, are there any other parts or anything inside that needs to be said or acknowledged before we wrap this up?
I mean, there's just some subconscious parts floating around, but
Yeah.
I think they understand.
Yeah. Just acknowledge them. Thank them for showing up. Let them know that it's okay that they're here, that they can relax if they want, and they need some loving attention too. So a lot of bookmarks of parts that you can spend some time with. They're all looking out for you.
Yeah.
What's really fascinating to find is that even parts that can be conflicting with each other often have the same deeper goal of looking out for you, looking out for that little girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else or anyone else that needs to say anything or share anything?
No, I feel good. I feel complete.
Yeah. Cool. How are you doing?
Oh, I had my eyes closed for a long time.
Yeah, it makes it easier
Oh my God,
sometimes.
we're here.
We're here.
Yeah. I feel a lot more grounded. I
Yeah.
feel, yeah, that was really nice, Doyle. I feel like you were really gently leading me. I'm surprised that I connected actually. For a while, it's been hard for me to connect with a lot of my
Yeah.
parts. I'll start to connect, and then it's like a cloud of fog comes that just says, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. So
Yeah.
yeah, actually, that was full of a lot of surprises. The little
Yeah.
girl, the vitality, the throat constriction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed like an immediate mood shift from kind of being in podcast mode, which
Yeah.
wasn't bad. It was good,
Yeah.
but there was like something calling my attention.
Yeah.
And I think honoring that, this part of me that says like, whoa, slow down. Stop just
Yeah.
like talking about all this stuff you may or may not know about, but like
Yeah.
get real a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Thank you so
interesting.
much. I
Mm.
appreciated it. That was a short little journey into the inner world. that I
Yeah.
was super grateful to see. I feel honored and moved by your parts that showed up.
Yeah.
And I can tell, I know that there's a sense of, oh, there's a lot coming up here, but we're definitely not opening up this we're not opening up this hood right here, right now, with these lights shining, these podcasts going, and for all these people. So there's a sense of like, we'll go a little bit, but that's as
Yeah.
far as we're going to go. And that's totally natural, normal too, but it just indicates where, and we don't want to. That's the whole point. I think IFS, what I love so much about it is it's very respectful, and safety is paramount.
Yeah.
And that sometimes we just think we got to go in there and we got to open up the wounds and we got to heal them. And it's like, no, we have to have full consensus and agreement from everyone in the internal world, going back to the parts that are self-conscious, that are judging, and just making sure that everyone is on board. So we're moving together, because otherwise they come back and they
Whiplash.
whiplash.
Yeah.
It's not helpful. And it may be
Yeah.
like this cathartic release in the moment, but then it just whiplashes back and just pulls us in. So
Yeah.
it's important to really move at the pace of our system and just know, oh, that's where I need to spend some more time.
Yeah. There's this phrase I'm thinking right now that our inner worlds can't lie.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just feels like when you do a little session like this and you close your eyes and you go and you can't lie about what's happened or hide it or exaggerate it. So you're left feeling like, yeah, I shared something real. And yeah, I think there's just that part of me that's doesn't want me to lose that realness, genuineness, connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we start to just give it space, like, oh, the thinking mind is trying to figure something else, but oh, actually, no, it's so much younger. Like the parts hold wisdom that they want to share.
Yeah.
And so, thanks so much for sharing, Rooks.
Yeah,
I really
of
appreciate
course,
going to this
Dale.
space with you, shifting from the sharing wisdom and thinking about what we want people to hear to, and maybe no one's going to hear this. Maybe this episode's just 3 minutes long because we edited everything else out.
Yeah.
But whatever's here, I'm really glad that I got to share it with you. And is there anything else at all that you want to share before we wrap this up? This whole thing is where we end. Anything we shared before, your experience now, moving forward?
No, this is really nice. Yeah, I definitely have like self-conscious parts.
Yeah, that's important too.
And yeah, it's just nice to feel that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe, for being
Appreciate
a
it so
friend.
much. Thank you, everybody, for listening. People want to get in touch with you, stay in touch with you. How do they find you? Have a book, you have Instagram. Where can people catch you?
I'm like, they can't catch me because I'm gonna make myself invisible. Like, no, you can find me. You can. I'm very visible online somehow. Somehow both those things exist.
Yeah.
But yeah, website.
Rock and
book,
Rooksy, dearrooksy.com, Rock and Rooksy Instagram, Draw Your
Draw Your
Feelings. Book. We'll put all those links.
Yeah,
in.
I do a lot of workshops on drawing your parts.
Yeah.
I did one earlier in January, and probably more to come. So
Yeah.
keep your eyes peeled for that.
Keep your eyes peeled. Get her book, Draw Your Feelings. Check her out online. And I was about to say, go visit her in where she lives. I'm not going to tell people where you live.
I'm in between New York, San Francisco, and Florida.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that.
Thanks for being a great friend. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, everybody. As always, feel free to keep in touch. My email is dial@consciousearthinstitute.com. consciousearthinstitute.com website if you want to just be in touch. You're not going through this journey alone. We all have an inner world that needs exploring, and we all have a need for support as we go through that inner space. So please reach out anytime, and please know that you're not alone. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks so much, Rooks.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you, Dale.
Yeah. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.